In Siberia, deep in northeastern Russia, there's a region where temperatures regularly drop to -50 degrees Celsius, sometimes even below -60. The record low temperature here is an astonishing -71 degrees. Winter endures for 8 long months, and I come So why do nearly 1 million people live here? It is so cold even your glasses can freeze to your face, and a banana left outside turns into a hammer within minutes. It might seem unbelievable, but nearly 1 million people have settled in this region. With over 300,000 inhabitants, it's the largest city in the region, and for some deep-rooted reasons, it continues to grow. YouTubers, vloggers, news reporters, and photographers are consistently drawn to this place because life in the icy cold is not only incredibly unique, but also fascinating for viewers. There's much more to this region than just its extreme cold. It's the backdrop for an exploitative diamond trade and simmering historical conflicts. Additionally, the land and its surroundings are home to an ancient culture that's teetering on the brink of collapse. Even if you're eager to visit the coldest city in the world, the costs can add up quickly. Relying solely on a credit card for train tickets, accommodation, and other expenses might lead you to lose track of your finances. Interest rates are often high, and conditions can be unfavorable. It's the kind of trip that's more likely a once-in-a-lifetime experience, often preferred by those with deeper pockets. In this region of Yakutia, deep in the northeastern part of Russia, the region is about 2 times the size of a Kaska and at least 7 times colder. Yakutia is larger with an area of approximately 3.08 million square kilometers. This is a New Zealand photographer who has been to the region many times. A short walk without a hat and your ears could freeze off. Without multiple layers of clothing, you wouldn't survive an hour. Cars stay parked all winter. Otherwise, the engines would freeze. At the daily market, everything is sold frozen. And believe it or not, schools only close when it hits -45 degrees. Yes, you heard that right. On his trip through Yakutia, the photographer took impressive photos, including this one. Beneath the city lies a layer of frozen ground over 300 meters thick. This permafrost, as the name implies, remains permanently frozen and can reach depths of over 1 kilometer. In Yakutia, most houses are built on stilts to prevent the buildings' heat from melting the ground below, which could cause them to sink. Pipes and pipelines are laid on the surface so they can be quickly repaired if damaged before everything freezes solid. It seems like an enormous effort just to survive here. So who endures this day in and day out, and why? Half of the population is made up of indigenous Turkic people with deep roots across Asia. They've lived in this region for hundreds of years, often maintaining a self-sufficient lifestyle by raising horses, reindeer, and cattle. Their diet is high in calories, mostly consisting of meat, which is crucial for surviving the extreme cold. Even Apple has sampled some of the local dishes. The other half of the population is largely of Russian origin. Starting in the 16th century, Russia expanded into Siberia, establishing numerous fortresses and settlements in the cold regions, partly to defend against local resistance. Yakutia was one such settlement. Additionally, enemies of the empire were sometimes exiled to this harsh land. Yakutia was once a sparsely populated area with only a few Russian settlements. Today, it is known as the Sakha Republic and is considered partly autonomous with its own constitution and some local laws. Though it remains a part of Russia, the region has grown into a large city with universities, hospitals, public transportation, Irish pubs, and an airport that is often closed for months. Not that it's a major inconvenience. According to Google Maps, driving the over 8,000 kilometers through 6 time zones from Moscow to Yakutia would take about 111 hours. For the locals, life in the cold is deeply embedded in their culture and identity. The locals have adapted remarkably well to the harsh conditions. After all, the region wasn't named after them for nothing. But why have so many others moved there? While some might find the extreme cold fascinating, most were drawn by something else entirely. Yakutia is rich in natural resources, including natural gas, oil, coal, gold, and diamonds. The Russian company Alrosa, one of the world's largest diamond producers, operates its mines primarily in this region. Even today, the mining and trade of these raw materials continue to draw many people to the city. Despite its billions in natural resources, Yakutia has not become truly wealthy. Much of the wealth flows into the pockets of corporations and to Moscow. Residents often complain about poor roads, a lack of jobs, limited food options, and low wages. Many feel neglected and forgotten by the capital, even though the region desperately needs investment. The 300-meter-thick layer of permafrost beneath the city poses a looming disaster for both the inhabitants and the rest of us. Compared to the rest of the world, Arctic land is warming about 2.5 times faster due to climate change. During the short summers, temperatures in this region now reach over 40 degrees Celsius. In the long term, permafrost could begin to thaw something that has already started in some areas. As the permafrost thaws, it reveals remains of ancient plants and occasionally mammoths or saber-toothed tigers. It might also make it easier to access diamonds. But that's where the good news ends. The permafrost contains about 1,500 to 600 billion tons of carbon, which could be released as it thaws. Professor Dr. Groas, head of the Permafrost Research Section at the Alfred Wegener Institute, explains that the atmosphere holds about 880 billion tons of carbon, while permafrost regions store roughly twice that amount in their soils and sediments. According to Professor Groas, this soil acts like a refrigerator, preserving vast amounts of carbon that have been stored for millennia. This refrigerator is now beginning to thaw. As the once frozen plant and animal remains decompose, microbes release carbon dioxide and methane, an even more potent greenhouse gas. These gases escape into the atmosphere, contributing to further warming. In summary, large-scale permafrost thawing would have catastrophic consequences. In Yakutia, the ground would become unstable, causing houses and roads to sink, potentially paralyzing the entire city. Railways, oil pipelines, and storage sites for radioactive waste would also become increasingly unsafe. In May 2020, a tragic environmental disaster struck near Norilsk due to thawing permafrost. A diesel tank collapsed as its foundation became unstable from the shrinking ice beneath it, leading to over 20,000 tons of diesel spilling into nearby rivers and lakes. The extent of the disaster was so vast that it was visible from space. Ice-cold temperatures of -60 degrees, life-threatening walks, incredibly long winters, and near total isolation from the rest of the world make this region truly one of a kind. It's a shame that a place with such a rich culture and history might not exist in a few hundred years. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let us know in the comments what you think about the coldest city in the world. Don't forget to check out the 2 more videos on the end card. See you next time.